Jennifer Evans once wrote, "To queer the past is to view it skeptically." This is what we're trying to do, to critically appreciate queer history, to interrogate it. How did queers succeed? And how did LGBTIQ movements come up short?
These are some of the guiding questions that we, Merlin Bootsmann, Greta Hülsmann, Martin Lücke and Andrea Rottmann, pursue in our research project, Human Rights, Queer Genders and Sexualities since the 1970s.
What even is queer history? Just like the queer community, queer history can be a lot of things. This, of course, includes writing about LGBTIQ persons, movements, and their perception in the past, but also queering already existing histories.
I'm Andrea Rottmann, and in my postdoc project, I queer the history of human rights by asking how LGBTIQ rights became human rights. In my case study, I focus on two global NGOs, Amnesty International and ILGA, the International Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Trans and Intersex Association. I reconstruct how they struggled since the late 1970s and until the early 1990s over whether people imprisoned because of their homosexuality could be supported as prisoners of conscience. What was at stake here was if the world's best known and most powerful human rights organization would come out in support of queer people, but also what that would mean for human rights activists in places where there was no LGBTIQ movement. Sound familiar? Yes, that's an ongoing struggle.
I am Merlin Sophie Bootsmann, and in my dissertation project, I am also researching an ongoing struggle, the education politics and policies of the LGBTIQ movement since the 1970s. In 1969, West Germany introduced sex education to its classrooms, while stigmatizing queerness, if mentioning it at all. Roughly 50 years later, it is increasingly common for queer educators to give workshops in schools, and slowly but surely there is an uptick of LGBTIQ representation in school curricula and school books. But how did this historical change come about? To initially adapt them and eventually transform them.
An important part of our project are our outreach activities. I'm Greta Hülsmann and I'm in charge of our blog, where we publish monthly articles in German and English. The topics range from abortion rights in East Germany to post-genocidal so-called mixed marriage regulations in Southwest Africa. But they all lay at the intersection of law with gender and sexuality from a historical perspective.
Our work digs up the roots of queer struggles that continue to be fought today.
We want to connect this history to the present, and we invite you to engage with us. Share your questions and comments with us on social media or check out our blog.
Write your own contribution for our blog and participate in queering history.